Welcome back to the Sound for More channel. It's Leo speaking. Today I have the pleasure to explain in a little bit more details about play surfaces for Logic Pro on an iPad. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, I've just launched Logic Pro on an iPad Pro M1. I'm presented with the recent folder or view, and as you can see, I don't have any recent project. So let's click on the plus sign and let's create a new empty project of type track. Okay, now we need to create a track or a new track for the project that we are creating, and we select MIDI so that we can play a software instrument. Perfect. So we have a new track inside a new project, and we have an instrument patch called the Lux Classic assigned to that first track, and it sounds like this. Okay, so we're going to close now the browser, which is this view here, so we click down here. In this way, we have a little bit more space on the screen. On the bottom right, you see an icon or image of a keyboard. Click on it, and it will open Play Surfaces. Let's go through the different controls and how it works in details. Let's start from the right-hand side, this icon, these two horizontal lines. Click on it, and it will maximize the view. Click on it, and it will go back to the previous setting on that view. Indeed, if you click and hold, and you move it up and down, you can change the height of that view. And then if you let go, click again, will maximize, click again, and it will go back to the previous state. So it remembers the previous state, okay? So let's maximize it. And as you can see, now we have two keyboards, okay? Which are available on the screen. Really nice if you want to play with your fingers, if you want to use touch on your iPad. Really nice. Okay, so next we cover these, the More button, this three dot. Click on it, you have three choices: Surface Settings, View Options, and Configuration. Let's start with Surface Settings, and as you will see in a moment, these settings for surface will change when you change the type of surface. So the top one is size. At the moment, by default, is medium, that is size of the keys. So let's change that, for example, to narrow. Sometimes this view is a little bit too narrow, particularly using your finger. So you can go back and set it to medium, or if you prefer, to wide. With a wide setting, sometimes it's difficult actually to reach more wider chords. So I prefer it to set it back to medium. Next, we can show note names. So if you enable that, you can see the names on the different keys. And that is really handy if you're not familiar with them. But even if you have that disabled, you can still see the reference to octaves. So for example, this is C4, and this is an octave below C3. And this helps as well when you have two keyboards to know that, for example, on the bottom keyboard here, when you get to C4 here, it's the same C4 here. Really nice. Okay, let's go back to the surface settings. Next, we have polyphonic pitch bend. Let's activate it, but please note here on the middle what happens when I activate it. You have an additional option. And also you have an additional option below called Y mapping, which I will explain in a moment. So let's exit that and click here. And now click, hold, and move to the left and right. So you're bending the pitch. It's what they call also portamento in other type of instrument, okay? It's a type of portamento settings. So you can create that portamento type of effect, but it's a little bit more than just the traditional portamento. It works better if you have a different type of instrument. So let's go back to the browser, click on search, and let's search for a different type of preset. This one, which I really love, is called Titanic Waves. So let's select it. And as I have the replace option here activated, if I click again, it will replace the instrument patch directly on the active track, as you can see. Now let's try. Let's go to polyphonic pitch bend. Really nice. Let's go back to the different surface setting options. It says here Y mapping, so you can enable that to be aftertouch or modulation. Let's try modulation. So if I click from the bottom of a key and I move it up as I'm holding that key down, it will start to modulate. Really, really nice. Let's continue. And we have also, let's disable that. We have now velocity mode, which can be dynamic or fixed. If it is fixed, you fix the velocity, of course, of the notes that are being played. Or you can have it dynamic. And in that case, you have a minimum value, which you can change, and a maximum value as well. But there is also another way that you can change that, which I'll show you right now. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you have this symbol here. If you click on it, it will open this view. Another moment, you have control for pitch, modulation, and velocity. Pitch is pitch bend. And if you let go, it will go back to the default position, and here you have modulation, which you were creating as well with the polyphonic pitch bend a moment ago. Here you can set the velocity range, your maximum and your minimum as well. And if you click and hold on the middle and drag, you can move the range itself. And you will notice that when I've done that, if I go back to surface settings, you see the velocity range, which I've changed for minimum and maximum value. So really nice. Okay, let's go now to view option. Let's say that I click on velocity. I disable the velocity view. Okay. If I go and click on pitch bend, nothing happens. Okay, and that's correct. But if I go and select note repeat, the pitch bend will, a modulation option will disappear. If I go back and select view options, you can see that I can reactivate pitch bend, and then the note repeat section will disappear. So they alternate between the two. Okay. Let's go to configuration before we explain how note repeat works, but let me enable it first. Configuration. So first of all, you can change the behavior of the modulation wheel from modulation to send the expression MIDI messages CC11. Then you have for note repeat the gate range, so from 1 to 99. And then you have different slot, 1 to 6, which are the same slot you can see here for the rate. First one, 132, is that one. The bottom one, 1/4 of a note is that one. So you can go in and change it. So for example, I want to have the ratio here, half note. And you can see it has changed here. Okay. So let's see how this works. The first thing you need to do is to hold, first of all, a rate, and then you can play. And as you play, it will repeat the note based on the rate that you have selected, and also it will keep those notes open based on how open the gate here, based on this fader. Okay, let's try. 1/4, press a note. You can, of course, change, if you keep holding the note, you can change the rate. So hold the rate first, note, and then change the rate. And of course, you don't need to hold the rate as long as you hold the note, that's okay. But if you let go the rate and then press another note, you'll find that the first note is repeated, the new one is not. So let me show you. 1/4, play note, and then I let go, and I play another note, and you will notice it's not repeated. Really nice, because you can have a pulsating bass, for example, without even using an arpeggio. And then you can play a melody on the top, really nice. Now let me show you what happens here on the gate. So click and hold here, press the note key and then change the gate. So it changes the duration of the length of the gate, which is really nice, really handy. So let's deactivate that. And yeah, so you can go back and change the range and the different slots. So it's really nice. Okay, let's move on. You have an option for scale. Click on it, you can activate it. And when you activate it, you have the selection here, which says C root major scale, which of course you can change. You click on it again, you can change the root note and the scale. So for example, let's go to a natural minor. Really nice. And yeah, a lot of different options to choose from, a lot of different scale. Really nice. And of course you can change the root if you want to, and then if you when you finish, just deactivate it. Next here we have a play option, which of course can alternate with the polyphonic pitch bend as I showed a moment ago, but it can also alternate from normal playing like so to scroll. So you can scroll actually the keyboard as you are playing, which is really nice if you want to reach, for example, lower or higher part of the register. And of course, when you finish, you can click on the play. You have a sustain option here, click and hold, and as you hold it, moving it to the right to activate it. And now as you press notes, they will keep sustain. Really nice. You can go up an octave, down an octave. So check the names here, it says C3, now it says C4, and now C5, and then you can go back. You can even have negative values, C2, C1. Again, really handy to reach a different part of the register. We have seen already this option here for your rate, gate, and pitch bend as you prefer. Okay. Right, next, what I'm going to show you is the different type of surfaces. So you click on here, it says play surfaces. We have seen the first one, which is keyboard. Now let's go to the next one, drum pads. As you can see, you have a lot of the pads on the screen. Really, really nice. So depending on the vertical position, when you touch the pad, you have different velocity, but you can change the setting. I'll show you in a moment. Here you have your normal play view, and then you have also a vertical scroll view, which again allows you to reach different different pads. Next, let's look at the more option. The surface settings would have changed, of course. The first thing you can change is the size, again, of the pads. Small, it looks really, really busy, or large. Maybe that's what you want. Again, depends on your preferences. I normally keep it to medium. You can also show the kit pieces icon, which is really nice because you know where to click. And if you are using an external plugin, like another drum machine, which is using general MIDI, you can also show the general MIDI drum names as well, which you can see here. Really, really nice. Next, you can reorder the pads. You can reorder it by general MIDI drum names. You can see there. Or by chromatically, of course. And it works better, of course, if you have them also shown like that. So by general MIDI, like so. Really nice. And then by chromatically as well. And then you have velocity mode. As default is top Y position, which as you move up and down in the vertical position on the Y axis, it changes the velocity, of course. But you can also have it fix the dynamics. And you can change the velocity range. Okay, the view options stay the same, and also the configuration options stay the same. Next, let's move to the fretboard. Now, for this one, I would like to change the instrument, and let's remove these diatonic waves, and let's click on search, and let's search for something like a guitar, okay? And let's click on that acoustic guitar. Let's maximize the screen. The beauty of this play surface is that as you hold on a string, you can move up and down and bend it. Really nice. I really like these sounds, and I really like to customize it a little bit. So click here where it says plugins, this icon, which I will explain in another tutorial. You can see it is a sampler with a compressor. Then it has a reverb space designer. So increase the size of the reverb. Maybe slightly the wet sign. Really nice. Sounds really, really nice. Okay, so we have an edit button here. You click on a string, and then you can change the string, the note for the particular string, and the position as well. Okay, like so. It will change that, and you can click reset to reset it to the default. Really nice. Let's go back to the play mode. You have scale. Again, you activate them, and then you change your scale. So pretty straightforward, as we have seen for other play surfaces. Okay, so let's deactivate that. Let's go to the surface settings now. You can see you can change the layout. At the moment it's the guitar. You can go to a bass, narrow, less number of strings. We can go to a violin. So you can see you don't have the frets. It is disabled, but you can re-enable them if you want to. So different view, which is actually really nice. And again, you can change the velocity mode from fixed to dynamic, and then the velocity range. Everything else stays the same. The view option are the same. The configuration option for the note repeat are the same. Let's change again to Chord Strips. Again, this is really nice. If you're familiar with GarageBand and Logic Pro X on the Mac, you find these already straightforward. You can click up here and play the chord. Versions, and then bass note. Really nice. Click on edit, click on a chord, and you can change it. You can change the type of chord from major to minor. You can see the changes there. You can say I want the 6, the 7 for the type of chord, and then you can also add additional notes, which is really nice. Really, really nice. Okay. Next, let's set this back to play. Next, let's have a look at the surface settings. So you have only velocity mode and velocity range. And again, the other options stay the same in terms of view option and configuration. Okay, let's move on, and let's go to guitar strips. This is wonderful if you want to play normally a guitar, so you can play the chord, which is the equivalent to strumming. You can play different strings, or you can strum it yourself. So it's a great view. You can edit, and if you edit, you click on a chord, change the chord, really straightforward. Okay. Let's go back to play mode. The other thing you can do here, you can do palm muting. So let me show you. I use this one, and I use my finger for that, and then I play different notes. Oh, that's really Really, really nice. I really like it. Particularly when you have this reverb. I don't know if you like it or not, but I do like it with a little bit more reverb. But let's turn it down just a bit. So let's go to the surface settings. As you can see, you just have velocity mode and velocity range. Okay, so now the last option here is lock play surfaces. Now, at the moment I have a guitar preset, right? And you can see this particular view. Let me show you what happens if I go to acoustic again, remove the guitar, and I select the piano. It changes the keyboard, right? So let's change the guitar, and it will change the fretboard. Now, if I select to lock the surface, and now I change to that grand piano, the grand piano changes, but not the play surface. So that is what you do with lock play surface. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and as always, see you next time. Bye.